time for the Morning Blitz with Ross Volkmer.
That broadcast school has really paid off.
And Christian Peck-Dimit.
Do you want to keep this job? Shut up, listen, learn.
The region's only local sports talk show, discussing it all from the preps to the pros.
What time is it? Game time!
Simulcasting on AM 730 Fox Sports Tri-State, streaming online at nwksradio.net and the Rocking M app.
They are everywhere.
The Blitz is presented by the Insurance Agency, the Farmer State Bank in Oakley, the Cowboy Corner Express, and Equity Bank of Hoxie, Quinter, and Grinnell.
Stop what you're doing and listen.
And that's hit well to right field. Through the wind and way out of here. Welcome back, Vinny Pasquantino. And the Royals get a leadoff walk and a 2-run home run in the first inning.
Rory, deep fly ball. Johnson tracking back. It goes, and it is gone. Jordan Rory, 3-run home run for UCLA to take the lead in the bottom of the sixth.
And she'll swing away and shoot one through the right side for a base hit, which is booted by Lem. That means the second run scores. Scott is home. Stewart crosses on the error, and Texas doubles its lead, courtesy of the freshman Caden Henry.
14 for Luka on the logo. Oh, what is going on here? Doncic again, another 3. Got it. He's a flamethrower. Back to Luka. Takes aim from 3 and buries it. Doncic, 5 threes and 25 points.
He's a flamethrower, in the words of Kevin Harlan last night. Hey, good Friday morning, everybody. It's the final day of the week. And how about this? The final day of May in the year of our Lord 2024. Hope everyone's having a good start to this Friday. Cool start after a rainstorm kind of came through the area. Boy, I was reading some of the rain totals from last night, and boy, some people got blessed with a lot. And I do mean a lot of rain last night. Did you see some of these rain totals that were raining on the group checks this morning, Christian?
I did, actually.
I know it probably doesn't matter to city folk to you. Rain totals could care less to you, but
they don't jump out to me as much. Maybe
I mean, 3.5 inches in Monument is a big. Yeah. That's a lot of rain. Almost 3 inches there near Mingo. That's a lot of water. That's a lot of water. What I would do for a third of that would be great. My yard would love it. So we did not get really any here in Goodland whatsoever. We have this thing that we like to call here in Goodland called the Goodland Gap. Storms come towards Goodland and they separate. It's go around Goodland and they come back together and then they continue on their way.
See, growing up, that would have been a great thing. I'm sure out here people don't like that, right?
No. People want the rain. It's good. You need rain. Okay. Yeah, I know. You city folk could care less about the rain. It just makes their day sad, But out here, the rain is very much needed. Very much needed rain.
That's pretty accurate. Yep.
Yeah. See. Anyway, hope everyone's having a great start today. Hit us up on the text line, the number 785-899-2222. That's the number to text and be a part of the show here on this final day of May. As always, follow along, whether it's the radio, the stream, the video stream. There's so many ways to catch the Morning Blitz each and every day for this wonderful hour of excellence, as we call it, between Christian and I, the hour of excellence. So we got a big show ahead for you today. We're going to have a little fun on a Friday with 3 up and 3 down coming up in our second segment. We'll update you what happened at the Women's College World Series. We have 4 winners and 4 losers after the first round got over late last night in what was a great pitchers duel. College baseball regionals get going today at 11 o'clock Central, 10 o'clock Mountain Time with a handful of games. Well, I'll hit you up with a few games I think that you should tune in and watch in the first round here today, including Kansas State and Nebraska both getting going today with their college baseball regionals. So we'll get to that. And we will get to the Royals, who lost another game in Minnesota. They cannot win in the house of the Twins as they lose again yesterday, 7-6. They've lost 4 of their last 5 after that wonderful 8-game winning streak has Kansas City. But last night, of course, the big news was the NBA Finals are set. The Minnesota Timberwolves could not defend their home court for whatever reason this entire NBA postseason. Luka Doncic goes off in the first quarter, and him and Kyrie go 36 and 36 each on their way to a dominant win last night up there at inside the Target Center. 124-103, the final score last night, as it'll be Dallas and Boston in the NBA Finals, which we have to wait a whole week for in order for that to happen. I can guarantee you the NBA is not happy about that. They do not want that. They do not want a whole week off. They do not want all that time off. They want the NBA Finals to start a little bit sooner than that, but because of the lopsidedness of the Eastern and Western Conference Finals, this is what you get.
I don't think they want it to start any sooner. I think they'd rather have both teams be fully healthy, but they, I think, would have much rather had either of these series go more than 5 or 6 games here, so that you can fill some of that time with more entertaining basketball, especially that Mavs T-Wolves series, which was a surprise, certainly, to see the Mavericks sweep away the Timberwolves the way that they did, very gentlemanly with their sweep. But
what does that mean, gentlemanly?
That's a gentleman's sweep is 5 games.
I learn something new every day. Okay, a gentleman's sweep.
But it's usually a gentleman's sweep is the way that it happened, where it's like 3-0, then T-Wolves kind of squeak in and grab one before the Mavs finish them off. Like they were nice enough to let you get one before they put you in the dirt.
Gotcha.
A gentleman's sweep there from the Mavericks was certainly a surprise. But that was supposed to be a really good series. So by all accounts, I think we missed out on some more entertaining basketball, which is unfortunate. But Luka did it all last night. He outscored the T-Wolves in the first quarter. T-Wolves, all of Minnesota combined for 19 in the first frame. Luka had 20, finished with 36, 10 boards, a couple of steals. 6 of 10 from outside when he's as efficient as that, when he has the ball in his hands as much as he does. That is, it becomes very hard to beat. The only thing that Luka could not do, of course, was complete my parlay. I had a 7-leg parlay on last night's game. Everything hit except Luka's assist over, which he did, of course, not hit. Had only 5 last night. I know. Oh, right in the heart.
7.
A dagger. Kyrie did also have 36, though. And despite the T-Wolves' best efforts to kill Derek Lively again, he still did not miss a shot. I wonder if there's a stat on that. He went this whole series, I believe, without missing a shot. Now, I'm sure a record like that has a minimum number of attempts, and I think he's only probably at about 20 for the whole series. But impressive nonetheless for Derek Lively to come back and to play the way that he did. 8 boards, 9 points, 3 blocks. We talked all series and really all playoffs about how important that Twin Towers setup there is for Dallas, where Dan Gafford, the trade they got at the right before the trade deadline to get Gafford was huge, and a rookie Lively have both stepped up and been huge key pieces for the Mavericks. You never see them on the floor at the same time. Because of that, they may run into some size issues matching up with the Celtics. Regardless, I think this is a very good team, and they proved to you all Western Conference, but especially last night with a dominant win, just how good they really are and that they really can match up with the Celtics. And we got El Niño Maravilla, a little vision of him just to cap it off.
I think it's amazing. This was the 5 seed in the NBA final, in the Western Conference Finals that make the run, the 5 seed. What's the point here? You have a point to make on that?
The point is, like a month ago, or however long the playoffs started, so like 4 years ago.
That's right, 4 years ago.
It was a 3-up, 3-down. You asked me what 5 seed or worse you thought I could see.
You said Dallas, didn't you?
I said Dallas. Yeah.
Well, look, you actually do know what you're talking about. It's hard
every
to
once in a while. It's a broken clock type of thing. You got to think about that.
It's amazing to me. Let's play hypothetical here. What if Denver gets past Minnesota?
Sure.
Does Denver take care of Dallas because they're a better matchup?
That's a great question, and I hate doing this because I rarely do I like doing counterfactuals, but if you're putting me on the spot, I would have to think that Denver has a better matchup with Dallas than the T-Wolves did. But at the same time, Minnesota was built to beat Denver.
I know,
because they were Denver, but because they were Denver, but better, and in a certain way at the certain things that they did. And this Minnesota defense was so good because it forced isolations. And what is so good about Denver is how well they move the basketball. And that two-man game of Jokic and Murray is the best we've seen out of any two-man game in maybe a decade. They're incredible together. But what happens when they're both isolated? They can get theirs, and the rest of the team kind of dies flat around them. This Minnesota team forced isolations against Dallas, and it didn't matter because their isolation players in Luka and Kyrie are two of, if not the very best players in the game. I think that still would have applied against Denver, that you should have gotten out of your two guys, Luka and Kyrie, the production that you did. I think it would have been a struggle. I think that Denver certainly could have won, and that was my pick, honestly, was Denver to win it all again this year. I'm not going to back away from that. I think they probably would have beat Dallas, but I think the Mavericks maybe match up a little bit better than you might think.
It's just amazing to me because that's the thing that continues to roll through my head is that Denver, there was one team that was built to beat Denver. Yeah. It was Minnesota. Mm-hmm. But then Minnesota, as you've said many times, gets gentlemen swept here by Dallas, who has two superstar players. But I don't know if the casual NBA fan could name a whole lot of guys beneath those two.
Great point.
And so that's what's amazing to me as a below average NBA fan over here. That's what blows my mind is that the Mavericks have just been, those two guys have just been done. But you bring up the point. If your defense is built to force isolations and you're facing a team that loves isolations, that's not good. That's not good at all. They have two guys that love to isolate.
No, and it's ridiculous. They've got this guy. I don't know if you know the name, Jaden McDaniels. He's on the T-Wolves. He's probably a top 5, top 3 perimeter defender in the league. He's just incredible, and he's one of those real long, tall guys where he can guard like the 1 through the 4 if you need him to. And he's so good. And he was the guy that largely shut down Jamal Murray. You remember last series we talked so much about how Murray was just shooting terrible from the field. A lot of that was Jaden McDaniels. Luka made him Swiss cheese. It was ugly to watch. I mean, he destroyed him. And you saw a lot of pick and rolls, high ball screens with Luka and with whatever center was in. I talked about how key the centers are for Dallas, whether it was Gafford or Lively, them setting a high ball screen for Luka, and you have to go over the top to defend it. McDaniels had to go over the top, and there's this new thing in the NBA called getting a player in jail. And Luka does it maybe better than anyone. Jalen Brunson does it really well too. When a player and a defender is trailing you off the screen, you get low, protect your dribble in front of you, and keep him on your butt. Keep him on your backside and just slowly work your way into the paint where because your defender is trapped behind you, the center that's defending the center that set the screen for you, so the opposing defending center has to stay attached to you. And that's what led to so many lobs for Lively and for Gafford. And that's why those centers were so good, because the vision from Kyrie and Luka getting downhill with McDaniels trapped and helpless behind them was ridiculous. It was very high level, and it just cut apart the Timberwolves defense, because whether it was Gobert or Towns, with the perimeter defender stuck in jail behind Luka, there was really nothing they could do.
Yeah, well, real quickly here before we get to break, because I want to get a little bit more extra time for 3 up, 3 down, but Boston and Dallas in the finals. I think one team we knew was going to be there. Another team I think we're probably a little surprised is there, but what was it? I saw a stat last night on SportsCenter. They were talking about these two teams. They've played twice this year, Dallas and Boston. They've played twice already this year in the regular season. The point differential average between the Celtics won both games. They won by an average of almost 20 points.
Really?
Yeah, 18.5 to be exact.
Now, I'd be interested, and I'm trying to check if either of those matchups, maybe both of them, if they happened before the trade deadline, because remember that this is a team that won the trade deadline better than anyone else in basketball. And we talked about it a little bit after it happened, after the trade deadline. But this is a team that, with the addition of PJ Washington and with the addition of Dan Gafford, got so much better. And actually, it looks like one of the matchups was after the trade deadline, and they lost by 28. So who knows? Who knows? I will say, on paper, this Boston team is still historically dominant. Just because the East was historically terrible outside of them doesn't mean that the Celtics weren't just that good. They have been incredible. Believe it or not, the most efficient post-up player in the NBA with his back to the basket, the player most likely to score the most points whenever he's posted up, Kristaps Porzingis. He's been awesome. He's found his role to the nth degree for Boston. And of course, outside of him, if Jason Tatum can do basically anything, this team becomes very, very hard to beat because you have Drew Holiday, because you have Jaylen Brown. Al Horford can stretch the floor, so can Porzingis, better than any front court in the league. It becomes such a difficult team to guard, to defend, to match up with at all, because that whole starting lineup is 6'4" or taller, and they're all pretty solid defenders as well. I think this is going to be a fun matchup, but I said that about Dallas versus the Timberwolves, so who knows?
Yeah,
Who knows?
we'll see. I'm thinking Boston's probably. I don't know. Boston at least in 5 is my point, but I think I could see it go 6. That's where I guess I'll sit right here.
I will throw out there, I do have, my pick is Dallas. I'm riding the Mavericks.
Oh,
whether or not that's a good idea, I know
riding
it's probably
the wave.
stupid. But they are heavy underdogs, as probably they should be.
What would your dollar bet get you in payback if you took the Mavericks to win?
If I took the Mavericks, they're plus 185, which is unheard of for a finals matchup. It minus 225 as the bet for the Celtics is terrible. That if you bet $10 on the Celtics to win it all right now, you'd get, like, including your bet, you'd get like $13. That's brutal. They're heavy favorites. Yeah, realistically, the Celtics should roll. But I think Dallas is just playing really good ball right now.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll have more to talk about. They have a whole week, whole week before they get
Bryce Simon
on Thursday. Great plan. We'll get Bryce Simon on next week to join the program and talk about the NBA Finals. All right, let's get to a break. We come back. It's a Friday. We like to have a little fun on a Friday, so we're going to do some 3 up, 3 down, 3 random questions that nobody knows what is coming down the pipe. So we'll get to that next here on the Morning Blitz.
At Charmin, we heard you shouldn't talk about going to the bathroom in public, so we decided to sing about it.
When you're rolling Charmin, ultra soft on the potty. Less is more, so roll it back, everybody. Charmin's irresistibly soft and hella nice. My grip is always stocked. It's our party vibe. It's cushioning things, so our chicks feel fly. So every booty wanna touch the sky.
Charmin Ultra Soft is irresistibly soft and more absorbent, so you can use less. Enjoy the go with Charmin.
Hi, this is Quentin. A little thing I love about Chick-fil-A chicken strips are how satisfying they are. The chicken strips are amazing. They're always filling, crispy, tender, and juicy. Definitely one of my favorite things on the menu, especially when you add in that Chick-fil-A sauce. Always the perfect combination. And then personally, you know me, I'm getting a 4 count. I want as much chicken as possible. I'm that guy. Whenever I get them, whether it be lunch or for dinner, in my household, it's always a winner.
Order the chicken strips on the Chick-fil-A app today. Real customer paid for their testimonial.
It's time for a check of the markets with the Anderson Trade Group on the Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio Network.
Good morning. This is Kate Thompson with the Anderson Trade Group. Today is Friday, May 31st. And on the overnights last night, July corn traded higher 4.5 at 4.53 1/4. September up 4 at 4.61 3/4. December up 3.5 at 4.75 $744.5. In March, corn up 2 3/4 at $4.86 3/4. July soybeans higher 12.5 today at $12.22 1/4. August up 12 at $12.20. September up 10.5 at $11.99 3/4. And November beans up 10 1/4 at $12. Chicago wheat, the July contract higher at 6 3/4 at $6.87 3/4. September up 6.5, $7.09. December up 7 at $7.32.5. March soft wheat up 6 1/4 at $7.48. Kansas City wheat, the July contract higher 11 3/4 at $7.21 1/4. September up 11 at $7.34.5. December up 11 3/4 at $7.52 3/4. And March hard wheat up 11.5 at $7.64 3/4. On the stock market this morning, the Dow up $75 at 38,306. The S&P up $15 at 5,268. The Nasdaq up 45 at 18,650. Gold higher $10.40 an ounce at 2,377. Silver up 12 cents an ounce at 31.66. And crude oil up 61 cents a barrel at 78.53. If you have any questions about marketing grain or would like to talk about risk management options, give our Colorado office a call. John Hankey out there at 970-744-4484, or here in our Kansas City office, myself, Tom Pluto, Jared Law, or Tyler Ghosh at 913-748-3000.
The Anderson Trade Group, proud market partners with Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio. Find out more at andersongrain.com. The risk of loss through trading futures and or options is substantial, and each investor and or trader must consider whether this is a suitable investment. Past performance, whether actual or indicated, is not indicative of future results. The Anderson Trade Group has no guarantee that the advice given will result in profitable trades.
At Case IH, we know you work hard all year to maximize your yield at harvest. And to do that, you need a combine that works as hard as you do. That's why we built the new AF11 with more horsepower, more efficiency, and more capacity than any other combine out there. Plus, built-in automation to harvest more easily than ever before. To do more with every engine hour, you need equipment that's as good as you are. You need the best in your field. Visit your local Case IH dealer for more on the AF11.
There are a lot of inconsistencies when growing soybeans. The soil, the weather, the market. You need something you can count on, like Revitech fungicide from BASF. It consistently outyields other fungicides by up to 9.5 bushels per acre, consistently wins in on-farm head-to-head comparisons, and consistently makes for happy farmers. Revitech fungicide. Visit revxfields.com for full results. Always read and follow label directions. Yield data based on summary of 2019 through 2022 RevX field scale demonstration trials.
Your livelihood is important to you. You work hard to succeed in your farming operation, crop, livestock, home, vehicles, and special needs. We have you covered. Discounts are available for new business, remodeling, hail-resistive roofing, multi-policy, and many more. Optional coverage endorsements as well for machinery ingestion and equipment breakdown. Umbrella coverage for additional coverage on your home, farm, and auto. See the girls at the Insurance Agency at 1020 Main in Goodland, or call 785-899-5011.
Back to the Morning Blitz with Ross Volkmer.
Continuing on a Friday show here on the Morning Blitz. We'll have plenty of Diamond talk coming up in the final third segment. We'll dive a little bit deeper into the Royals' loss to the Twins. We'll get you a Women's College World Series update. College baseball regionals get rolling today as well. So still plenty more to get to here over the next 30 minutes or so of our program. But let's get rolling with some fun on a Friday. It's not only the last Friday of, or it's not only the last day of the week, but it's the last Friday of the month of May, as the May is over. We start June 1 starting tomorrow. So let's have some fun with some 3 up and 3 down.
3 questions.
Let me ask you something.
3 answers.
Answer the question.
It's 3 up, 3 down on the Morning Blitz.
All right, who wants to go first on this?
You got it.
So first question I have for Christian Peck-Dimit on 3 up, 3 down. Once again, these are 3 random questions that he has no idea. I'm just completely throwing it out there. Is Luka Doncic now the NBA's best player?
That's a tough one. I feel it's a little bit of recency bias that would make one say yes. He's been in that conversation for a long time. Certainly, he's one of the new faces of the NBA. We talked about this playoff run, us sort of being able to actively watch the passing of the torch with LeBron, with Curry, with Kevin Durant being knocked out very early, none of those three making it to the second round for the first time in almost 2 decades. And then we see the likes of Ant Edwards and Luka Doncic and Jason Tatum get very, very far into these finals and sort of start to take over the league. I don't think he's the best player in the league, but he was an MVP finalist. He's certainly in that conversation, first team All-NBA. He's got more first team All-NBAs than Steph Curry, which is crazy. Seeing how early he that's ridiculous. That's wild.
That's nuts.
I'm going to say no, but I'm going to say he's closer than a lot of people are willing to admit.
You know what I find to be funny is, this is just me from once again, the below average NBA fan. How come the 2 best players in the NBA are Caucasian? Right now, Joker and Doncic.
And they're the 2 least athletic dudes.
Yes, and they don't look that athletic. They look like they eat donuts like everybody else. Like, what? I mean, it's amazing to me. It's not like, no offense. No offense to the Joker, no offense to Doncic. I'm not saying that they are out of shape because they're probably in great shape, but they don't look it.
He definitely he did not get his recovery beer last night. Did you see that? He after he dropped a 60-point, 20 rebound triple-double last year in an overtime win, all-time performance, one of the greatest single-game performances ever. Post-game interview, the Mavericks Bally Sports guy just goes, what are you going to do after this game? He goes, I'm tired. Need a recovery beer.
There you go. I mean, it's great. And they dominate.
The man of the people.
They have found ways to dominate a game which has got the highest level of athletes maybe in the world.
Yeah.
And they don't look a shred of athleticism there. It's amazing to me, the Joker and Doncic getting it done. All right, your first question.
So I've got, hopefully I haven't asked this one yet because I'm sort of interested to know the first jersey you ever got.
Oh, sheesh. I mean, it was just a Nebraska jersey.
Back before you could have names on it?
Yeah, it didn't have names on it.
Do you know what number?
I'm trying to remember if it was, to be honest with you, it was either 15 or it was 18, which means it was either Tommy Frazier or it was Goodland's own Brooke Beringer. I forget. It was either 15 or 18. That was my first jersey. It was
my guess is it was 15,
jersey.
But you're trying to throw your local Cowboy.
And then I had an Oregon. I bought an Oregon jersey, but once again, no number on it. Actually, it was custom. It was had my name on the back. You know, it was custom made with my name and
Did it have the full name or just Volkmer?
Volkmer is what it had. That was what, honestly, I'm trying to think. I've never bought an NFL, an NBA, MLB jersey. I've never bought one of a certain player. Never have. Oh, wait. I take one back. I did have a Michael Vick jersey because I was a huge Mike Vick fan.
You got a dog. What are you doing?
And I know, I'm not saying I agree with what he did, but I did have a Michael. Actually, the cool thing was I had a Michael Vick jersey that was a Virginia Tech kind of throwback. So it was Virginia Tech with the Vick. It was pretty sweet.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. So I do remember having that. But yeah, I'm not a humongous jersey guy. I've honestly collected because my in-laws have. Well, it's true, but these were all wonderfully donated by and collected throughout like Colby Wrestling and Goodland and all that stuff and Colby Track and Field. They were donated. So, by the way, if anybody's listening from like St. Francis or Sharon Springs or Oakley, would love to add to the collection. I would love to have way more other local uniforms.
Don't send him one. I've got none.
Yeah, Christian, can you so if you're listening from the other communities, send us stuff. We would if you need, hit us up on Twitter, whatever, at NWKS Sports. We would love to take, even if they're older. I don't care if they're stuff you're throwing away or donating away. I would love to have old school high school uniforms fill the studios. Would love to see it from all the regional schools, all of them.
Good plan.
So I would love.
I'm glad you asked.
So once again, yeah. So I've never had a ton of jerseys. It's never really been my thing, but I did have an old throwback Michael Vick jersey at one point in time.
Okay.
All right. Moving on, my second question to Christian on 3 Up, 3 Down. Which new Michigan coach? They have 2 new ones this coming year. They have Dusty May as the basketball program, and Sharon Moore is taking over, Derby, Kansas native, as the football coach. Which new Michigan coach, being a Michigan fan, are you most excited to see work, and who do you think will have the most success?
I didn't know he was a Kansas native, to be honest with you.
Derby, Kansas.
Okay, good for Sharon. Most success this year or period?
You know what? I'm going to go with period.
Ooh.
This year could be. I think that's too easily Dusty May because he completely remade the roster. I'm talking overtime.
Overtime, I think Sharon Moore.
Really? Wow. Okay.
I think what Harbaugh did has a lasting sort of legacy with that program that sort of hadn't been really at super high level in a couple of decades, realistically. The Sugar Bowl, Brady Hoke's first year was really the last time I saw us in a high-level bowl before Harbaugh got there. I'd love to see that transfer over. I don't think it'll happen this year, only because they've got a tough schedule lined up with the new Big Ten, and I think that we could have a very good team in Ann Arbor in the Big House. I don't think that'll translate because we've got teams like Oregon and Washington on the docket that could hurt a little bit. And Texas, I think we have
you have Texas and Ohio State.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and of course the fact that we have Penn State and Ohio State every year is especially ugly. I'm excited for Dusty May though. I don't think that pumping up more the way I just did takes anything away from May, and the way that he redid that roster certainly helps for just this year period. And I'm excited to see how we can compete in the new Big Ten basketball wise. But I think it's important to know that remaking a roster for just 1 year is no longer a one-off thing. That's what you have to do every year. And your ability to do it ever can be indicative of your ability to just have success in the new look NCAA with the transfer portal. So hopefully that carries over year. But I think basketball, it's a lot harder to get sustained success these days with the way the transfer portal goes. So that's the only reason I'm a little more hesitant to say Dusty's going to have a great long career here, though I, of course, would like it.
I am very concerned for both hires, to be honest with you. I really am. Neither guy has proven to do it at a high level, and they haven't. And from Dusty May, he's only done it at one spot. How do you know what worked at Florida Atlantic is going to work in Michigan? I think he is going to find some success here early on. Because then he got like Vlad Golden. He got some of his own guys to come up with him. But those guys are going to be gone. You know, they're not going to be there in a year or two. They'll be gone. And so how does he recruit? We're going to find out more on that. Maybe he'll be really good with a bigger school and a bigger brand behind him to push. Sharon Moore, I don't know. Like I said, I think this year they could be good. I don't know about the next coming years. Can he recruit like Harbaugh? I don't know if he can.
I don't know if anyone really can.
True.
He was
true.
He was
so
a sleep over at guy's house type of dude.
Yeah, climbing trees. Yeah, it was great. Thank you,
what
Jim.
A crazy guy.
Oh God, loved him. Mowed his own lawn. That was mowed his own lawn. Ate an apple every day. Had a glass of milk with steak every day. Yeah, it's
got
great.
chickens.
All right, on to question 2 for me. What do you got? 3
Yeah, I've got. You've got a Nebraska shirt on right now, so it sort of fits the question. Nebraska disappears today, or somewhere in between now and when the sports start up. You have to cheer for another high D1 team. Not saying they're going to replace Nebraska in your mind, or they're going to be just as good, or you're going to love them just as much, but you have to cheer for one other D1 team. Who is it?
In what sport? Any sport? All sports?
Just any and all.
General?
Any and all.
Golly, what a hard question.
Yeah, sorry.
My wife would kill me if I didn't say Kansas State, and I'm sure that she texted, and you better answer carefully here. My wife would kill me if I didn't say Kansas State. God. That's hard. Kansas.
That's a man that doesn't want to say Kansas State.
I guess I'd pull for them for my wife. I guess
That's
a
the
little
answer.
bit, but
That's the answer of a man with a gun in his head.
That's the happy wife, happy life answer. I guess I'd pull for Kansas State.
If there's a hypothetical where you
just
very mad at
trying
you.
to think of some other teams that I really like, other schools that I really enjoy following and things of that stuff. I don't know. I grew up. I loved Oregon growing up. I always kind of liked Oregon, so I think that'd be kind of fun. Trying to go buzz around some of the areas. Yeah, it depends. I don't know. Oregon's got it because I love all three sports. So it'd probably be maybe an SEC team or something like that. Because I love football, basketball, and I love college baseball. So it'd have to be a school that has all three to cheer for all those. So, and I love volleyball too. So, great question. I guess I'd have to say Kansas State. My wife would kill me if I didn't say that. So, probably Kansas State as much as I. Like I said, but my Nebraska, I guarantee you it would not be. It would not be Texas. I hate Texas with a passion. They're my most hated team. So
really?
I hate Texas.
All right.
Absolutely cannot stand Texas.
Good to know.
Anyway, question number 3.
Question number 3.
Personally, what's the best sports environment you've ever been a part of?
Ooh. Just like as a fan or a broadcaster?
Anything. Like you were there in the sports environment. It was the best you've ever been in, whether you were broadcasting or as a fan.
I will say it's going to sound super hokey. The big house is as ridiculous as you might think. 110,000 people they pack it with every single game up in Ann Arbor. And if you've ever been to the big house, it's not all that great of an experience just because the seats aren't particularly big. They really want the high attendance numbers, so you don't sort of get to have that like AA baseball sort of experience.
Yeah, they cram you in there.
They cram you in. And I'm sure that's maybe not as fun if you're going as a genuine fan. But the last maybe 3 or 4 times, because I had an older brother at Michigan, and now I have a little brother there. So maybe I shouldn't say this on the air. I did go into the student section. I did find my way.
I'm sure they're listening.
Well, I used other student IDs that maybe weren't mine because I didn't go to Michigan to get into the student section and to watch some games, and it was an awesome experience because everyone is having a little bit of fun. Everyone has had some adult beverages, and they're just having a great time. And I watched the big Penn State win there a couple of years ago. That was super fun. Yeah, I'd have to go the big house, but I think out here, if I had to give a Kansas answer, which I know you didn't say, there have been a couple that have just the Hoxie games, especially on the girls' side, was really fun because the gym is so
tiny. Gyms, yeah, tiny gyms make it fun.
There's a couple places out here when we were over in Stratton, especially because that game went to overtime on the boys' side. It's just these tiny little matchbox gyms that have like the court and then 4 feet and then the baseline, or 4 feet from the baseline is the walls, and they just pack it in there. And I'm sure they have a third as many of the fans that are in Colby or in Goodland, but it just feels so crammed and so loud. And you throw
we've talked about this before, because I've done some broadcasts from the Mini Max, which is the junior high gym at the Max, and it's only 4 rows of bleachers, and people are standing up on the balcony overlooking. I mean, it is a jam, especially like when the varsity plays, because they lost in the topside tip-off in the first round, so they're playing in there. I mean, it's not cool because you're there, but it is cool because of the atmosphere. It's fun. The little bandbox gyms are great. I would agree for broadcasting, even though they're probably not the best to broadcast from. The atmospheres are amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Like I said, it could have been anything, like Chris Whitty, like any particular game or anything like that. Just an environment that you've been in before. Because I bring it up because I was at the Big Ten baseball championships with Nebraska taking on Penn State in the final, and it was a great environment. It wasn't the best one I've ever been in, but it was still very, very good. So maybe wonder what you had experienced. So anyway, next question.
Gonna put you on the spot here because I'm not the biggest of college baseball fans, but I am trying to watch some games this weekend. College World Series, who comes out on top? You got to pick one.
So who is my national champion?
Who's your pick? Yeah, who's your pick?
The tough part is that I could go with the obvious answer, and that would be Tennessee. Tennessee would probably be the obvious answer. Tony Vitello's done a great job there. They actually have a young man, Dylan Dreiling. He's from Hayes. He's in the starting lineup for Tennessee. Cool. Dylan Dreiling, really, really good player. That's probably where I would say if you want to bandwagon a team, you probably want to hop on Tennessee. They're very, very good, especially if you want a complete team. If you want the hot team, you probably want to go with LSU. They are white hot right now, which they're a college baseball power, so you probably want to hop on and watch them because they're very good. Duke is a very, very good baseball team this year. Would not surprise me if they have a great run. They're deep in pitching. They're deep on offense. They're very, very good team to watch as well. Plus, they have one of the greatest mustaches in college baseball as well, and Nicky Lopez.
Very important.
Fantastic mustache for Nick Lopez is very, very good too. So, yeah. You have to tune in, and if you need to tune in, and you got to watch some. So there's something about we're talking about atmospheres. You have to tune in and watch. Let's say Kansas State wins this game against Louisiana Tech, and Arkansas wins their game. You got to tune in Saturday night to watch K-State Arkansas. There in Fayetteville. That place is a ruckus house. It's a absolute party all the time. So you got to tune in and watch a game. Yeah, I would love to go to a game there in person. And a fun fact as well, since Arkansas is in the tournament, third base coach Nate Thompson is a Goodland grad. So Nate Thompson, third base coach at Arkansas, he's a Goodland, Northwest Kansas boy.
I love the local connection.
There you go. You can tie that in as well. So that would be a neat deal to watch. Would be Kansas State, Arkansas if they both won. That'll be fun. I think Stillwater Regional, where Nebraska, Florida, and Oklahoma State are, is a really good regional, which will be a fun one to watch. But if you're going to just try and pick out a team to cheer for, and you're going to kind of picking out the favorite, I probably have to go with the number 1 seed, Tennessee, right now.
But if Ross had to put his money on something.
Yeah, but there are some other good teams. I'd probably say you got to put your money on Tennessee at this point in time.
All right.
Anyway,
that's it.
There you go. 3 up, 3 down. Always love it. Always fun. So random. All right, let's get to a break. When we come back, we are going to change gears. We're going to talk more about the Diamond, get you a Women's College World Series update, what happened to the Royals in Minnesota, and I will give you a few regionals you want to keep your eye on in the College World Series. Sorry, not the College World Series, in the regionals of the men's baseball tournament getting going today across the nation. That's next here on the Blitz.
Don't want to be tied down by a wireless contract? Get the service you deserve with NextTech Wireless Advance Pay. There's no contracts and no credit checks. Plus, you can get unlimited talk and text with 22 gigabytes of high-speed data for only $25 a month. Make the switch now and get a device on us. NextTech Wireless. Home on the range.
This is Abby Johnson, a freshman at Goodland Junior Senior High School. The Booster Club would like to congratulate our 2024 senior class and wish them well as they continue their educational and career pursuits. We are excited to support all of our spring sports teams who are finishing up their season in these coming weeks. Stay in the loop this summer by following us on Goodland High School social media accounts. The Black and Gold Booster Club proudly supporting all students in their academics, activities, and athletics.
Roof's worn out and it needs replaced. Who you gonna call?
Roof Masters!
Roof Masters Roofing at Colby has been your premier roofing contractor for over 40 years, offering free estimates on all types of roofs, as well as seamless rain gutters and vinyl siding. So give us a call today. What's that number, Jake?
462-6642. I think you better call
Roof Masters!
Yes, Colby and Goodland Automotive is your local CarQuest auto parts dealer, but you might not know that they are your Traeger grill headquarters in Northwest Kansas. They not only sell all models of Traeger grills, but they have all, and I do mean all, the Traeger accessories. Seasonings, check. Accessories such as rib racks, insulation blankets, and covers, check, check, check. Pellets of all flavors, even ones you've never heard of, check to that as well. They even have repair parts. If it's Traeger, they got it. At Colby and Goodland Automotive, the Traeger headquarters in Northwest Kansas.
Presented by Holly's Pride Committee, Ambulance, and Fire. This Saturday, June 1st, the annual Holly, Colorado Demo Derby. Running trucks. I said trucks. Super stock cars, light weld compacts, and more. And Derby Dan, the demo clown, will be there. This is a very popular one, so there is limited seating, so perhaps bring your own chair, but be there this Saturday, 7 p.m. Mountain Time at the Gateway Downs, 1 mile west to Holly, Colorado. Go to Holly, Colorado area events for more. Hey, by golly, we'll see you in Holly.
It's the Morning Blitz.
What is this, amateur hour?
Weekday mornings from 7 to 8 Mountain, 8 to 9 Central on 102.5 U Rock and the Rocking M app.
As it usually is, a fast and fun Friday show on this final day of May. Look at the Women's College World Series scoreboard from yesterday. Texas, a winner over Stanford 4-0. The final score. Oklahoma blows out Duke, 9-1. Then you have Oklahoma State falling to Florida in a pitcher's duel last night. There were a combined 4 hits in that game, but Florida had a solo shot in that contest to get the win 1-0 over Okie State, and UCLA with the win over Alabama 4-1. So once again, you've got 2 elimination games coming up today. You'll have Alabama Duke at 5 o'clock. I'd be at 6 Central, 5 Mountain Time, followed by Stanford, Oklahoma State a little bit later on in a limit. So whoever loses that game those 2 games goes home. They are done. Saturday, there will be 2 championship games in the winners bracket, UCLA, Oklahoma, an early game, followed by Florida, Texas in the later game on Saturday there at the Women's College World Series. Invite you to tune in. It was good drama last night there. And it proves if you have one great dominant pitcher, you can do a lot of damage is what it proves. If you got one great pitcher, or I guess if your offense is fantastic, that's true. But most of the time, if you have one great dominant pitcher, you can do a lot of things. Speaking of Major League Baseball, the Royals lose 7-6 last night to the Twins. Heartbreaker there for them. They were up 4-0 to get things going. Vinny Pasquantino back after being injured for a little bit. He had a 2-run blast. MJ Melendez hit a home run. It was his first RBI, I think, of the month of May. It was a rough stretch for him. The tough part was Brady Singer was supposed to start. He had illness issues, so they had to call up Daniel Lynch to pitch. He was actually all right. Only gave up a couple of earned runs in 5 innings of work, despite the short notice. But the real story was the name of Ryan Jeffers. He not hit 1 but 2 solo homers in that game yesterday to lead the Twins in a comeback 7-6. And like I mentioned earlier in the show, Royals have lost 4 of 5 going into this weekend series for Kansas City, which they are back home at the K taking on the Padres tonight, starting at 7:10 Central Time. You can hear it on AM 790 KXXX.
I thought Danny Lynch was actually pretty good, especially given the time, but he got himself out of a couple of jams. I think there was at least one other time where there were bases loaded, and I think twice where there were 2 or more on base where he was able to get out of the inning, no more damage done. So just a couple of earned runs there. Really, it was Chris Stratton who had an abysmal, ugly
Bullpen.
6th inning that he did not finish. Yeah, the bullpen, once again, it's been very, very up and down, and we've had a lot of ups lately outside of the last week or so, but back onto the downs. That ended up being sort of the reason for the loss. Pasquantino back into the lineup. Vinny sort of took that knee. He was covering first and took like this knee-to-knee type of thing, and people were worried that it really was to his knee. Turns out it was just above the knee on the thigh, so he was out just a couple of games. Finally makes his way back, hits a homer, and then hits like this blooper pop-up thing with the bases loaded in the top of the 9th. That would have been a winner. Instead, it was an easy put out, and game was over. So up and down night for him. Nice to see MJ hit a homer as well. Obviously, just a solo shot, but please get MJ Melendez going. We've talked so much about the bullpen, but really the back third of this lineup has been ugly for KC as well.
As for the Rockies, they have won back-to-back series over the NL and AL leaders, believe it or not, have the Rockies. They head to Chavez Ravine to take on the Dodgers this weekend. Good luck. Game 1 tonight, 8:10 Mountain Time. And, of course, the College World Series, I don't want to say College World Series, but the road to Omaha is how I'm going to put this now, gets going. And we're talking about some of the regionals to watch. One regional you need to keep your eye on is the Lexington Regional. Kentucky, Indiana State, Illinois. Interesting matchups there. There's the Norman Regional between Oklahoma and Duke and UConn, and also Oral Roberts, who made the College World Series last year, is a fascinating one as well. UNC and LSU will be an interesting shakeup there in the Chapel Hill Regional. I say the Stillwater Regional I think is very, very good. Oklahoma, Nebraska, and Florida should be an entertaining regional. So ESPN Plus, you got to have it, and then you can, if you have certain devices, you can quad box it on your screen and watch 4 games at once if you'd like to do so. All right, let's get to the walk-off.
A 3-run walk-off home run, a game-winning walk-off with a walk-off.
His second walk-off hit of the season.
In walk-off fashion, that baby's go.
Hard Knocks announced they're going to be tracking the Bears. And also, Netflix announced they're going to be doing a documentary series on the SEC and their football season coming up. No surprise. Which one of these two are you more excited to see?
Sort of the Bears, maybe just because they're NFC North competition. But the new look SEC is obviously, with all the shifting conferences, be interesting to see that as well. And we haven't really gotten a Hard Knocks-like thing, like a documentary-style thing for college football yet, at least not that I'm aware of. So I'd love to see that look.
They did one on, I don't know if it was Stars or what it was. They did something like that a few years ago where they followed Penn State and they followed,
interesting,
I forget who else they followed. Arizona State was another program they followed. It was actually kind of, I mean, I love that. I eat that stuff up for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I love that stuff. So I love the sports documentary stuff. So I'm all down. I'll watch it all. It doesn't matter to me. It could be about whatever. So I love the documentary stuff. Very, very good. So any big plans this weekend?
Not really. Maybe heading over to the Volkmer household for the
garage sale.
I'm maybe just staying cold because I'm worried that I'll have to leave Ross's house with something. I do want to end on a stat of the week here. Luka last night became the 4th player in a single postseason to have at least 450 points, 150 rebounds, and 150 assists. The other 3 players, Larry Bird back in '87, Jokic last year, because of course, and LeBron did it 6 times.
See you next week.
KKCI, Goodland, Colby. This is